In Activity 1, What is Weather?, students discuss the phenomenon of weather and its effect on their lives. Students first observe, describe, and discuss the weather and how it affects everyday life. Students also observe that weather changes from day to day, then discuss seasonal weather changes, and finally discover that weather varies from place to place. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 1, Part A, Activity Sheet 1, Part B, United States Outline Map, United States Outline Map laminated, and a package of erasable markers in assorted colors. You will also need to provide assorted colored pencils, clothing and accessories, and the newspaper weather page. To prepare for Session 1, make a copy of Activity Sheet 1, Part A for each student. You will also need to have clothing and accessories to wear that are clearly inappropriate for that day's weather. To begin Session 1, come to class dressed inappropriately for the day's weather. For example, wear rain gear on a sunny day or a short-sleeved shirt on a cold day. Ask students, "What's wrong with the way I'm dressed?" In their answers, students should note the weather outside. Then ask, "What should I have worn today?" Elicit responses from students that illustrate they understand the proper attire for the day's weather. Then, take the students outdoors or to a window and have them describe the weather today. Encourage them to use words like sunny or cloudy, warm or cold, windy or calm, rainy or dry, and so forth. Ask students, "What is weather?" Students may say that weather is what is happening in the sky or in the air outdoors. Accept all reasonable answers. Explain to the class that the atmosphere is the blanket of air that covers the earth, and that weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a certain time and place. The atmosphere controls how hot or cold the air surrounding Earth is, how air moves, and what air carries with it. Then, inform students that at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, the air gets thinner and thinner until it disappears, and that the area beyond Earth's atmosphere is called space. Note that in space, there is no weather because there is no air. Next, ask students, why is it important to know what the weather will be each day? Students should respond that knowing what the weather will be each day helps people plan their daily activities, decide what to wear, and so on. Weather can also affect transportation, farming, and other outdoor work. To conclude Session 1, distribute Activity Sheet 1, Part A, and instruct students to observe the weather and record their observations in both words and pictures over the next 5 days. To prepare for Session 2, make 2 copies of Activity Sheet 1, Part B for each student. Students will also need their completed Activity Sheet 1, Part A, and colored pencils. To begin Session 2, on the 5th day of the activity, tell students to retrieve their activity sheets and share their weather observations. Ask students, what did you notice about the weather this past week? Students should understand that the weather can change from day to day. Then, distribute 2 copies of Activity Sheet 1, Part B, and colored pencils to each team of 2, and tell students to name the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Ask students to draw a winter scene in the first space provided on their activity sheet, and then to discuss weather in winter as a class. Repeat this for the other 3 seasons. Make sure that the class understands that weather changes from season to season, and point out that seasonal weather is different in different places. For instance, the winter may be snowy and cold in, say, Buffalo, New York, but comparatively mild in Charleston, South Carolina. To conclude Session 2, compare the weather changes that occur from day to day to those that occur from one season to the next. Students should conclude that seasonal weather changes are usually much greater than daily weather changes. To prepare for Session 3, you will need a weather page showing national weather conditions and a laminated wall map of the United States. Each student will also need a United States outline map and some colored pencils. To begin Session 3, display the laminated wall map of the United States and distribute a United States outline map and some colored pencils to each student. Using the wall map as a guide, ask students to locate and label their state and town on their map. Then, have students describe the local weather for that day and record this information next to their town on the map. Next, describe the different weather conditions in various cities around the country, using the weather page from today's newspaper for reference. Instruct students to record the weather conditions of a few cities, and discuss weather in different areas of the United States. Students should understand that weather varies from place to place all over the world. Ask students, given the weather conditions in each city, where would you like to be, and what would you do there? Answers will vary, but should include an explanation of activities that are appropriate for the weather conditions in that city. To conclude Session 3, explain to students that in the following activities, they will study different things about the weather. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.